All right, everything straight. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody in YouTube world. Peace, peace. Want to make sure everybody having a good evening. This is the Nerve of You podcast, episode 9. Episode 9 of the Nerve of You podcast. And I want to thank everybody for coming over. So let's just get it popping, man. You know, your boy Stevie J, he's in the news again. He's in the news for effery. You know, and for people that don't know who Stevie J is, let me just give you a brief little history, man. You know, Stevie J, he started off with Bad Boy. You know what I'm saying? He started off with Bad Boy, you know, producing for, you know, Biggie Smalls and, you know, the Locks and all those guys over there, man, producing for Puff. And, you know, he fell off for a few years. Then he started dating Eve. You know, that was another thing he was in the news for. You know, him and Eve had the sex tape. Before it was Kanye West and Kim K, it was Stevie J and Eve. You see what I'm saying? And he started doing a reality TV show, man, dating different women, getting into different shit, you know, different fuckery, this, that, and the other. And we see where he at now. You know, Stevie J, if you ask me, has lost his mind. You see what I'm saying? Lately, man. And really, I just want to use Stevie J as an avatar, man. You know, for a lot of dudes. They don't even understand the dangers of being a slut monkey. You know, there's a difference between being a slut monkey. You got to say it just like that, to a slut monkey. There's a danger in that opposed to just being a player. You see what I'm saying? Stevie J went to the dark side years ago with some of these women. And now he's married to Faith Evans, out of all people, Biggie Smalls' ex-wife. The same woman that they claim allegedly slept with Tupac. You know, Tupac made a diss song, Hit 'Em Up. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see how deep this go? And what a lot of people would do is they'll jump online, you know, and they'll blame the girl. Or they'll blame the women because it's multiple women. But what's the common denominator with all of these women? I mean, Joseline Hernandez, she came out the strip club calling them Stevie. She couldn't even say Stevie. She said Stevie. Faith Evans, you know what I mean? She had her ups and downs in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Mimi Foss, she left Stevie J, started dyking it out. She ended up getting with a woman. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Eve, you know what I mean? Eve, the only one made out. She's married to a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, you know, the common denominator is Stevie J. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, if you a man, are you dealing with multiple women, or you just been dealing with women throughout your career, throughout your life, or whatever the case may be, and if everything around you, including the women that you touch, is going under, it's on you, bruh. I'm just gonna be 100. Like, that is on you. When I used to watch the show, hold on, y'all. You know, like when I used to watch the show Love and Hip Hop, cause Stevie J was a real fascinating dude for me, man. You know what I'm saying? And I thought he was a player, honestly. You know what I mean? I really thought he was a player, but he's a real fascinating guy, man. And like when I used to watch the show, right? Boom. I thought he should have dealt with like Mimi. I thought Mimi was cool, right? They had a kid together. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Stevie J goes to Miami, goes to the strip club, and get with Joseline Hernandez. All right, bet. You know what I mean? That's what you want. Now, he tried to deal with both of them at the same time, and that was a real big mistake. You know what I mean? Some of y'all seen how it played out on the show or whatever, and it got real sloppy, man. And the thing that Stevie J didn't take in consideration was his own kids, man. I'm like, yo, this guy is out of control. Got on the show, ended up with a drug habit. I mean, who can stop Stevie? You see what I'm saying? So now there's a bunch of kids involved. He's married to Faith Evans, and he's on somebody's live stream getting some head, getting some head. And some people think that's cool, but I'm like, this guy has lost it. You know what I mean? Stevie J ain't 25 no more, man. Let's keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Stevie J is about 45. So, you know, at some point, man, it's really time to grow up. You know what I'm saying? It was bad enough when he was walking around with minks on and no shirt with the sex tape with Eve. I'm like, yo, this guy's out of control. But that's just who he is, man. You know what I mean? Like, what you think about a guy like Stevie J? You know what I'm saying? From a woman's point of view, is Stevie J a player or is he a slut monkey?
I think Stevie J is definitely a slut monkey. He lacks self-control. He is just out of control.
Just out of control, huh? Now, what you think about Stevie J choice in women, though? Because you got to look back. Now, when he was dealing with Eve, talking about Stevie J, it was all good. He was a producer. She was a rapper. It made sense, right? Back in the day, you know, and like Eve, well, she did come from the strip club, too. But Eve, you know what I mean? She was cool, though. You know what I'm saying? She was a very, very respected rapper at the time. And you know, they had a little sex tape that got leaked or whatever. You know, I did watch it. And yeah, of course I did. But I'm like, all right, everybody was like, yo, that's Stevie J. But then when he got on reality TV, we really seen a different side of Stevie. Now it wasn't cool no more. It wasn't a player no more. He wasn't walking around with the minks and the bandanas and all that. It looked like excuse me, y'all. It looked like a man that was really out of line and out of control at that point in his life. And I'm like, yo, what's up with this dude, man? You got a good thing going with Mimi, but you go to Miami, go to the strip club, get with Joseline Hernandez. They on the show fist fighting. What's really going on? That's my thing. So, and now he's with Biggie Smalls' ex-wife, the girl that allegedly people slept with Tupac Shakur. Like, is there a issue with Stevie J's choices? What you think?
I think it's definitely an issue with his choices. I mean, if anything, I think he was better off just marrying Mimi. She was probably his best option. But he led her on for years. I think, 8-9 years to be exact. I just think that him being a slut monkey over the years have just ruined him.
Ruined him, huh? I can dig it, man. Stevie J got really bad choices. And now, y'all see the latest news. He was on Instagram crying, talking about Faith Evans cheated on him. In their own house.
In their own bed.
In their own bed. Now, we don't know the details behind it, but I'm like, dog, a lot of men got to understand where you plant your seeds at in life, right? Where you plant your seeds at in life is where you going to reap the harvest at. You see what I'm saying? Period, man. And what I'm saying is Stevie J planted all his seeds with strippers, ratchet women, fast women, woo, 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 woo. And we see the outcome of living that life for too long. The guy has entered a place of no control to the point where he's on black media, on social media, black media. You know, I forgot the name of the blog or whatever. Getting some head while he's live on the interview, man. And then called the woman a slut. The slut monkey is calling somebody a I'm like, this guy, somebody check him for drugs, man.
Right.
At the end of the day, somebody check the guy for drugs. So, look, I never had a problem with Stevie J. I thought he was a funny character. You know what I'm saying? I used to find myself doing the Stevie J face from time to time. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is a show enough sign of you reap what you sow, and there is consequences as a man when you become a slut monkey. There's a major difference between being a player and a slut monkey, and a lot of people got to understand this, man. Being a player, everything is cool, calculated, smooth. You ain't got no drama from your women. You know what I'm saying? If anything come up, you know, you can sort it out. You can iron it out. Keep it pushing. Everybody on the same page. It's really harmony in the midst. But when you a slut monkey, you forever gonna find yourself into some ish. Why? Because of the energy, man. Nobody got good intentions for each other. Nobody got each other back. Everybody trying to come up off each other. You see what I'm saying? He had no business dealing with Joseline Hernandez. She had a drug problem. She was loud, ghetto, and she couldn't even say Stevie. She had to say Stevie. I'm like, I clearly get this girl hooked on phonics. Did she have a nice body? Yeah. Do she look like she can have really good sex? Of course. Joseline Hernandez. Yeah. Yo, that's a Clydesdale. That's a big girl. You know, a lot of people thought she was a
man?
Yeah. A lot of people thought, but she was a big girl. I could tell she worked out, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Joseline Hernandez, she looked like a good lay. That I'm just gonna be honest. I would have smashed too. But at the end of the day, Stevie J married the girl. He had a baby with Mimi. This was the illest shit. Had a baby with Mimi, beautiful little girl, and turned around and married Joseline Hernandez. I'm like, this guy is out of line.
In between that, he proposed to both of them.
Stevie J crazy, man. Stevie J crazy. But at the end of the day, it is levels to this shit. But let me see. When a man got a good girl, well, I ain't gonna say good because I was like Mimi was real good, but Mimi was decent compared to these other women. She was decent. Nobody knew who Mimi was until the show. So a man that's dealing with Mimi, why would he not deal with Mimi to marry Joseline Hernandez when he scraped her up off the floor in the strip club?
You know, Stevie J is giving black men a bad look. It's just...
We're going to blame black men, huh?
He's promoting the fact that he can't control himself sexually. I mean, the fact that he's getting a blowjob while he's doing a interview, it just sends out a really, really horrible look to black men. And by the way, it was Leah Henry that was interviewing him. Her show was called Leah's Lemonade.
So that was some scenes on the show that I do remember, because I kind of stopped watching that crap after like season 2. Stevie J just started bugging. I remember he went to like rehab. Then it was him and Benzino, no neck having ass. I just couldn't take it no more. But that was a lot of scenes that you could tell Stevie J kind of regretted dealing with Mimi, because he was like, yo, he kept telling her, I'll send you back to the club.
Oh, you talking about Joseline?
Yeah, Joseline Hernandez.
That's your Stevie J face.
So, you know, he kept telling her, I'll send you back to the club. And what rang bells to me, man, I'm like, damn, man, like, you know, did Stevie really regret even dealing with Joseline? And he turned around and had a kid with Joseline too. This guy is out of line. It's something wrong, people. It's something wrong with the slut monkey. That's what we just gonna call him, a slut monkey. But at the end of the day, do you think that Stevie regretted taking Joseline out the strip club?
Yes.
And why is that?
You know, I think he regrets it because he noticed that she really single-handedly helped him ruin his life. And he knows that if anything, if he was going to marry anybody, I think he really feels bad of hurting Mimi, hurting her so bad to the point where she went into the arms of a man that exploited her, you know, put a sex tape out on her, and now she's dating a woman, and they're broken up now. But so she's really like screwed up, and the whole thing, it was just embarrassing, and she got to blame herself too, because she's been in that relationship for so long, and a lot of times when women don't get the commitment they want, they just settle for the money, and that's what I think that's what held her on for so many years, dealing with Stevie J.
That's what you think?
I think so, because in the episodes, they will have, Stevie J buying her like a car as an apology.
He bought a 3 Series BMW.
Right. So, that will keep a woman 10 years if she's not careful.
I can dig it. Now, do you think that there's anything a guy like Stevie can do to get his life together? Because it seems to me, at this point, a guy like that, the slut monkey, right? A guy like Stevie J, obviously he likes a particular type of woman. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, for him to marry Faith Evans, which I thought was very odd given his history of working with her ex-husband and everything. Clearly, he just like a certain type of woman. And truth be told, sometimes as people, man, we can go to a real dark place with this shit that a lot of us don't really like to talk about a lot. But there is a dark side to all of this shit. And when you go in too deep, ain't no coming up out of it, man. You know what I'm saying? You can be in some real deep quicksand with this shit. And, it might seem like fun for a while. It is fun. But if you don't take some time, get your life together, recalibrate, you can end up like Stevie J, closer to 50, and you're out of control. You know what I'm saying? You're not 25 no more. You're not 24. You're closer to 50. And, I want to say he's a grandfather or something too. So, this guy is not even setting a good example. And this is where you spiral out of control. You see what I'm saying? It's not pushing P no more. It's not being a player no more. A player is always in control. Stevie J is letting the woman in the game play him. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Do you think he saw Faith Evans as a woman a woman that he admired, that he thought was spiritually uplifting, that was spiritually better than him? What do you think was the appeal that he had when he decided to be with and marry Faith Evans?
My thing with Faith, and I don't know the intricate details, but what I would say is, I think with Faith and Stevie, both of them had enough dirt on each other where, it's the laws of attraction kicking. You know what I mean? Water seek its own level.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, Faith Evans always going to have a bad rap with the whole Tupac situation. Another little situation she was in, I don't think she was ever going to climb out of that hole. And then also you got Stevie J. I mean, his reputation precedes him. So sometimes people can just connect on that level. Like, you know what? You know what I mean? We've known each other for a while. You know what I mean? We know everything about each other, all the little dirty secrets. We might as well just kick it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it was a good idea or bad idea. You know what I mean? I don't sleep in the bed with him, but what I'm saying is look how it played out.
Right.
Look how it played out. Whether it's true or not true, just that stigma being out there that Faith Evans, even at this point in her life, will be with another man in their bed. I'm like, man, this is bad on all levels. Like, what we doing? Y'all do me a favor, man. We on the live chat, the Nerve of You podcast. We just chopping up some good game. Y'all hit that like button for me, live podcast. If you like what you see, like what you hear, y'all hit that like button for me, please, y'all. So anyway, but yeah, at the end of the day, that's my thing with, Stevie J and Faith Evans, man. I think they had enough dirt on one another where, sometimes you just be like, F it, man. Why even get out here in the dating scene and go through the ins and outs and the good times and bad times when we cool, like we know each other. You know what I mean? Clearly they knew each other for years.
Right.
So I don't know. That'd be my guess. That'd be my guess. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What you think?
I think he looked at her as in some type of admiration, like, you know, shout out to Nicole Michelle. She said something on a Clubhouse that intrigued me. She said she said men like to look up to a woman, and to make sure like she is spiritually more, I guess, better than him in a way, to help him. I don't know how to explain it, but she said something along that lines. That's why I asked that question. And I think Stevie J, he's really flawed in that department. So I think he looked at her, because I think she was spiritually like uplifting, you know, compared to him. I mean,
maybe not.
Yeah. So
I mean, look, Faith Fabion's got her reputation. You know, her reputation is pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Redman. The first rapper she ever dated was Redman. It wasn't Biggie Smalls. So at the end of the day, you know, a lot of these women do get around once they in the industry. But whatever, right? At the end of the day, you know, the dark side of this shit. You know what I mean? There is a dark side. You know what? Some of us can go so deep, man. Ain't no getting out. It ain't no coming to the light, so to speak, at that point. You know what I mean? You kind of got to accept where you at. And it would probably take a real, you know, either a spiritual conversion or something like a life-altering event for you to slow down and get your mind right, where you could just recalibrate. Excuse me. I mean, Stevie J is like a granddad. Like, you would think being a granddad, like, goddamn, you know what I mean, slow it down. Right. But this guy is out of line, people. So, look, a lot of guys need to take heed. Like, this is ultimately what can happen when you don't take time to get your life together. Typically, guys go through the player phase early in life, and then once they get, you know, late 20s, early 30s, they might slow it down, or they may get in a relationship, get married, or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, you typically slow it down as you start to get up there in age. But yo, guys like Stevie J, I don't even think they care. You know what I mean? Like, Stevie got the personality of a guy that really don't take nothing serious. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the personality type I get from a guy like that. And I'm sure it came in handy before, and I'm sure sometime that it didn't. But look where it got him.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. I agree with you. It is a terrible look. Terrible. But, you know, he doesn't, you know, women, I think we should beware of the Stevie J's of the world, because a man like that, especially a guy that has money like that can be very alluring, and we will discount how dishonest he is and how, you know, flawed of a character he is, and overlook certain things because the money's so appealing and he's charismatic. And
well, I don't think Stevie J lied to these women, because if you watch the show, Mimi and Joseline, they definitely knew about each other. Like, this was no secret. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect of things, I guess I got to give him his roses. He wasn't lying to him. You know, now we can get into the levels of it or whatever. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like he was keeping one of them secret or this, that, and the other.
Well, he was working with her in the studio. He made it seem like she was just his artist to Mimi.
Okay,
and that's where things went south, because she's like, okay, that's your artist, and she's a stripper. Okay. You know, she was the dot connector in that, but he made it seem like, oh yeah, she's just a artist, and you know, that's what we're doing. You know, so anybody who cheats, you know, they're a liar. They're flawed. That's a character flaw.
So, in your opinion, right? Should Stevie had just stuck with Mimi, or I guess what I'm saying is, should he have dealt with one or the other? Like either deal with Mimi or deal with Joseline or deal with none of them. Don't try to deal with them at the same time, because Mimi was, she had her own little business. From what I remember from the show, she was situated up there in Atlanta. Now he got Joseline out the club. She ain't really had no talent. I think that was a front. Like talking about he gonna be her producer. I didn't think she made good music. That was a front to get her about the club. Cause Mimi, if you look at her body type and she a workhorse, I know she a money maker. She's like, cause she just in shape. And
I think in his mind he felt like Mimi was always gonna be there. Don't be fooled. I think there were many other Joselines, but I think he took Joseline more seriously. Like he actually really just wanted a relationship. But I think Mimi, over the years of 9 years, there was many Joselines.
Well, it couldn't have been many Jocelyn because he only married one.
Many Joselines in the sense of he was just sleeping with them, and I think.
Talking about out the strip club or just
period? In the strip club, out the strip club, in the gym, in the studio, wherever he found another woman, he would sleep with them. And I think Mimi was just there. I think she, well,
they had a kid together. You got to understand. I think if Mimi and Stevie didn't have a kid, Mimi probably wouldn't have stayed so long. That's not abnormal for a woman to have a kid for a guy and then want to be with the father of the child. At least give it a fair shot. Like, I'm gonna give it everything I can. After that, I'm done with it. So to me, had they not had that child, maybe she would have bounced, because it was a lot. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot going on or whatever. But do you think guys should leave women out of nightlife alone if they can't handle them? I mean, clearly Stevie J is him and Joseline probably the same person. You see what I'm saying? But
and that was the appeal. I don't think he saw himself too much in Mimi.
But do you think it was a mistake him taking her from the club?
I think he should have just left Mimi alone and dealt with Joseline. I think without Mimi in the picture, I think they would have had a more successful relationship.
Him and Joseline?
Yes.
Well, their relationship was based off of, because I brought you out the club, I'm God.
The type of woman Joseline is, I think she needed that. I think she needs that type of discipline. She needs to hear that. She's a wild animal.
A lot of dancers need to hear that.
I think so too.
You know what I'm saying? Real talk, like they really do. A lot of dancers really need to hear that.
I think she's a wild. I think they would have been good for each other. I think Mimi's better than him. I think Faith Evans is too. I think Joseline.
I think that's relative.
I think Joseline was the perfect person for him because they offsetted each other. They balanced each other out in some ways because he always had that trump card. And that's what made Joseline cry. I don't think Joseline would cry for anything else.
Well, that goes to a different conversation because now you getting into the ins and outs of dealing with a dancer, and it's like, well, all the other guys that Joseline Hernandez was with, like they didn't bring her out the club and give her an opportunity. Stevie J was the one that jumped out the window, the third floor window, and was like, you know what? I see some potential in you. If you roll with me, I'm going to get you where you need to be. But what happened was Joseline got comfortable and forgot, like, look, no other dude was going to do this. They was going to use you up and toss you right back to the club. And clearly that was really her history. So at the end of the day, I think I think Stevie had every right to tell her from time to time, look, don't forget where you from. Don't forget where I found you. You did?
I agree, but do you see how Stevie was a good man? I mean, a great man to Joseline. Why wasn't he that to Mimi?
I disagree.
Was considered. I think he was considered a bad boyfriend. For him to propose to another woman and propose to Mimi, that's a slap in her face.
I thought that was a business move, proposing to Joseline.
At the same time, that was terrible. He was.
I don't remember that.
he was bad to her, but he was good to Joseline. Joseline is a woman that he really wanted.
Based on what?
Based on her sex appeal, based on she's a firecracker, based on he wanted to be the one to tame her, based on that was the years of him being a slut monkey. He met his match.
Let me ask you a question.
He met his match.
Somebody said he gave them both a ring. I can dig it. Let me ask you a question then. You know, long term, like what's the probability of Stevie J and Joseline even being successful long term, given the fact that he did snatch her from the pole? You know what I'm saying? Like the pole was always going to be her god. She can never submit to Stevie. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, my thing is like, I think Stevie put himself in a trick bag, and he probably thought giving her a ring was going to slow that down. But we see he couldn't tame Joseline. Why? Because Joseline was too far gone. She from the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Cat got your tongue?
Yeah, you got me there. I don't think Joseline. See, that's why I said him saying, "Yeah, I'll throw you back in the streets." You know, I did everything for you. That's what made her cry. That's what made her feel emotional. Anything other than that?
Okay, if you was a man, right?
Uh-huh.
And you Stevie J successful, man. You know what I mean? Producer. He been around Puff. He was signed to Bad Boy. He been around for a while.
Right.
So if you was a man and you went up in a strip club, you went up in the club, you know, you found some talent. You brought the talent out the club, polished the talent, motivated the talent, right?
Right.
Got the talent to act right. Now she walking with her head up. At the end of the day, wouldn't you feel offended when they get too comfortable and start bucking back? Especially before the mission is over and the plan ain't right. You see what I'm saying? Like, as a man, wouldn't you get offended? And every now and then you got to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Look where you was last year. I mean, literally, look where you was last year. You was jumping your ass up and down on the pole, but now I got you in the studio.
Right.
Making music. Right? Real talk. I got you on TV.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now, as a man, honestly, wouldn't you be offended?
I would.
Can I get an admission, though? Like, I mean, like, because, like, you represent the women, and I need the fellas to really hear this. Like, dog, it's never going to be enough. See, they don't remember the times. Let me just get on this for a second, because this might be a hot topic. They don't remember the times where all the other dudes was just using them. Throwing back to the club. Right, finito. Then all of a sudden, you get a dude out here with vision. Stevie J, just on his face, had vision when he seen Joseline. Like, you know what? You got a brick house body, got a halfway decent looking face. You know what I'm saying? I can get you into that reggae tone lane. I'm a producer. I can make anybody sound good, look good. I got you. All I need you to do is chill and let me work my plan. But like any other woman, Joseline Hernandez got too comfortable. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So my question is, why didn't all the other guys take her out the club and do certain things and you know, take her out the underworld, so to speak? Not just have fun with them, not just use her sexually, and then toss it back to the streets, like my man Gucci say, the streets. You see what I'm saying? Why wasn't that the case?
Only God knows. Only God knows why.
Oh, we got to talk to Big Brother?
Yeah. That's not a question for me. The thing is, like I said, the years of him being a slut monkey, it got the best of him. He met his match, and he wanted to pour into his match, and he saw something in Joseline that she did not see in herself. And he chose her, and he poured into her, and Mimi was a casualty in that.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it, man. So, you know, back to Stevie, though, you know what I'm saying? I actually thought Stevie was a player. First season or so, I'm like, this guy, you know what I mean, having it his way. Then he started rolling around with Benzino, which I thought was a bad idea. You know, Benzino's out of control, too. Like, where's his neck, by the way?
I don't know.
Still trying to find it?
Yeah.
So, anyway,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Like, I wonder how he looked with a turtleneck.
Yeah, ain't no turtleneck, ain't no mock necks, no none of that. So, he started rolling around with Benzino. It got real sloppy.
Yeah.
You know, it was fights going on. The women fighting each other, all this other shit. And I'm like, whoa, like, what's really going on? Like, this ain't P. Like, this is sloppy trash.
Right. And even Benzino, he ended up with a video model, I think a video hoe. She was in the Foolish video, Deshanti rolling around with Murder Inc. He married her, actually. So I think these guys are kind of, I would say, they are used to dealing with these. That's their lane, I guess. That's they have valued sex so high on their value system that only women that work in the sex industry can fulfill their desires. Hell, look at Drake. His baby mother is a porn star. You know, these guys they valued looks and sex to the highest degree. Not being looking for a virtuous woman, she doesn't get there, you know what, hard because they had too much. These guys probably slept with 500 women. So the woman that they end up with has to be a woman that's porn star level.
Think so?
I think so.
I can see Joseline Hernandez being like she looked like it. Like she looked like it for real.
They ruined themselves. They really did.
Oh,
It's sad. It's sad.
Oh, okay. So the Faith Evans situation. When I heard Stevie got with Faith, I was befuddled at first, right? I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Just the stigma alone ain't good, right? You know, I could see if they was regular people, then I could be like, all right, whatever, right? It makes sense. But I'm like, y'all never gonna live this down in the media. Like, every interview they gonna ask you, like, dawg, that's Biggie's ex-wife.
She's unfaithful Evans, not Faith Evans.
Unfaithful? That's funny. That's hilarious, actually. So, at the end of the day, though, I was real befuddled at first, and then I thought about it. I said, you know what? Both of them dysfunctional.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because quiet is kept. Faith got a bad reputation in the music industry too. A lot of it ain't get out. The biggest thing was the Tupac thing, Biggie thing, but that's some other things on Faith Evans that been floating around. So her reputation ain't squeaky clean either. She got her issues as well.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, clearly this ain't her first time cheating on her husband or none of that. Like Faith Evans got an issue.
Right.
You dig? So both of them like dysfunction. So when I really thought about it, I said, you know what? This is a match made in heaven. Real talk.
That's true.
This is a real match made in heaven, man.
I wonder what he did for her to be so disrespectful with the cheating. And she, in the video, she said, I hate you. She said that probably 8 times.
Well, you know, Stevie probably cheated. I mean, like, okay. Did she really think that Stevie was going to be faithful with his reputation? Like, when you marry Stevie, you know what you're getting. You see what I'm saying?
Right. You're right.
Like, real talk. Like, you know what you're getting.
Mr. Miyagi.
Straight up. Always lucky eye. So, you know, that's my thing. Why would you even marry the guy and didn't think nothing was going to happen? Now, I don't know the extent, but if I had to take a guess, I would think it was some infidelity on his end. And she probably was like, you know what?
F it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and get him. That's the only thing that I could really think of, man.
I agree.
And Stevie done went out, got the girl face tattooed on her. I'm like, this guy is out of line.
Damn.
Stevie's crazy.
What do you think led him to that point?
First of all, if you watch the show, I know your question. What got Stevie on that path?
The line from moving from player. Is there a thin
Stevie
line from
J has
player and Slut Monkey?
Stevie J, for one, he had a major issue with his mother. If you watch the show, he was cool with his dad, but he had a major issue with his mom, and that never helps a man. You know what I mean? Your mom is the first person you're gonna fall in love with. Your mother is probably gonna be your first friend. You know what I mean? Your first best friend. All that other good stuff. The first person you cry to, and all of that. That's what your mother is. He had a major problem with his mom, for whatever reason. You know, it was what it was. And then moving on from that, you know, men in the music industry alone can make people dark. You know what I mean? Drugs, alcohol. You know, the guy had to go to rehab. So clearly he had some deeper issues. You know what I mean? And, yo, some of that stuff about Hollywood is true. You roll around with Puff Daddy and all of these guys at the height of Puff Daddy's career. Who knows what kind of access Stevie J had and what type of parties he was into and what type of stuff was going on behind the scenes. I believe he could have went down a real dark place that he got stuck at. Like a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? We make a left turn here, a right turn there, and we get stuck somewhere. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And next thing you know, we in too deep. You ain't no cop, J. Reed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it takes just as long to get out of that darkness. Matter of fact, it takes longer to get out than it did to get in. It took a split second to get in. Boom. Now it would take a lifetime to get out. And you know what? Sometimes you go too far into the abyss. Those wounds, you'll never shake them off. They forever going to be on you and in you.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be entrenched in your brain psychologically. Why? Because it started to rework your whole neurological system, man. Chemically, you different now. What aroused you when you was a young, innocent young man or whatever, that's not going to arouse you no more. Same thing with women. You know what I mean? A lot of women, they go to the strip club or sell a little bit of, you know, sex or have sex with too many men or, you know, play wife too many times or whatever to certain guys. Being the soccer mom ain't going to cut it no more. And every now and then, that woman, she going to have to go get that dopamine rush because she need to feel aroused. The regular arousal ain't going to do it. It got to be somebody that can, one, take them to that dark place, or she got to get into some activities that remind her of that dark place. It's like, I would liken it to when I was in Iraq, being on the 50 cal. I like to talk about the 50 cal a lot, but it's no rush in the world like when you in a war zone, when you hanging out a Humvee on that 50 cal. You got choppers and Kiowas and Black Hawks and all of that flying over your head, and you just in the moment, you free. It's a high that I honestly can't articulate. But what I'm saying is, even after I got home from Iraq, for many, many years, I was chasing that feeling. I thought that I can get it through sex. I thought that I can get it through women. I thought that I can get it through this, the club, da-da-da-da. And I never was able to get that feeling again. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And honestly, I had to do a real spiritual conversion. This is real talk. To shake that up off me. Because it rewired my neurological system. Now, doing regular stuff ain't cut it no more. I had to go to the extreme to have fun.
Okay.
Because I went to the extreme when I was overseas.
Right.
So when I got home,
that was your highest high.
It was a major high. So now when I got home, I had to go there. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to the people that's watching is, sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you can go so far deep into the darkness that it will rewire your neurotransmitters in your mind. And certain chemicals that was being released, dopamine, serotonin, all that good stuff before, when you was just having a little bit of fun and playing it safe and keeping it cool, that ain't gonna cut it no more. Now you gotta go more extreme, more extreme, more extreme. It's like any drug, man. You start off, hey, you probably can handle a little bit of weed. You probably can handle a couple little pills, sip on some lean or whatever the case is. But if you start to get in an excess, you're going to need more and more and more to get you high, to get you drunk, or whatever you're trying to achieve, man. It's a natural progression with anything.
Yeah.
So control is really the lesson in it all.
Right.
But if you already went too deep, shit, you just got to deal with the truth of the matter.
Is there a thin line between being a player and a slut monkey? What do you have to do to cross over? Is it the lying? Is it the self-control aspect? What is that line?
Personally, I don't even think a lot of people understand that they crossed over. Again, I'll take it back to the drug analogy. If somebody just want to get high, let's say they start off, or like get drunk, your tolerance get built over time. Let's say you start off with a 6-pack of beer, you're having fun. Who's really paying attention that in 2 months or 1 month or whatever, you went from a 6-pack to an 18-pack? Who's really monitoring that like that? Because you in the moment, you having fun. Unless somebody bring it to your attention, you ain't really peeping it like that. And then you went from the 18-pack to, the paint of Hennessy. You went from the paint to the fifth. You went from the fifth to now y'all got to buy 2/5 and then 3/5 and gallons or whatever the case is. I appreciate that super chat, Seeker of Truth. So that's my thing. Do you really know?
You don't know. You don't know. That's true. That's true.
So, again, I'm like this. That thin line is so thin, and we all cross it. Some people put their pinky toe and like, nah, I'm good. Some people put a whole foot.
Right.
Some people dive in here first, like, I'm
perpetual
good.
line steppers.
Boom. And once you dive in here first, man, like your world is blown. That's why they say marijuana is a gateway drug. And honestly, it is.
Right.
I know, no disrespect to the Chiba smokers and the ganja smokers or whatever. I'm saying, power to you, 420 that. What I'm saying is this. If you want to be honest, most people that elevated and graduated to different drugs, can we not say that they didn't start off smoking weed?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like, honestly, man, they started off smoking a little bit of weed, little bit of weed, and then once you try something, you think everything else is cool. You think everything else is sanitary for you because you're like, you know what, the weed ain't do nothing. But it is a gateway drug, man, and I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, would you want somebody babysitting your children to be smoking weed all day? No.
No.
Would you want somebody that's driving you, 6 hours on a bus ride, maybe a Greyhound, smoking weed all day? No. You wouldn't want your airplane pilot high as hell. So my thing is, if weed is that safe, everybody should be able to do it. No. It lowers your faculties, man. And I don't even want to get all into that because do what you do. What I'm saying is, like anything else, people start from somewhere.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
So do you think in this case, when you chase fast women, do you think that is the drug? If you could go to the deep end.
It don't even be about the pussy no more. It don't even be about the women no more. It's the lifestyle. It's the rush of it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just the whole, I mean, a lot of guys may not want to sell drugs, but when they realize, yo, I do this, I got a little bit of power that I never had. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden people respect and fear me.
Right.
I go in the club, I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a neighborhood celebrity now. Right. You know what I mean? It's not just the money.
Right.
I'm sure it's not just the money, man. Like, right. It's the lifestyle that people get addicted to. You feel like a celebrity. All of a sudden, you never was really popular, but now you the man or you that woman. And that's a rush that goes beyond the act of the sex. Like, Stevie J can get sex from Mimi if that was the case, but it was the rush. It was the ego start to kick in. And then once that get out of control, ain't no stopping you, man.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Ain't no stopping you. So what you gonna do? It's like, I was about to say something. It's like, damn it, man. It was on the tip of my tongue too. What I was finna say.
The rush.
It's like a lot of guys that go for the military. They'll go from the military to become like a contractor overseas doing security, or they'll become a cop, or firefighter. Like, it's, like they're working in prison or something. It got to be some high activity, high, violence involved or something like that. Like, real talk. Because at the end of the day, you got to replace it with something.
Right.
So you got a lot of soldiers that commit suicide. Quiet as kept. You got a lot of soldiers that end up going a little crazy, or like they lose themselves a little bit because they haven't found anything to replace that rush of the lifestyle, man.
So a volatile environment is the only thing that could kind of give them that rush. I
wouldn't necessarily say volatile, but even the threat of violence.
Right.
I wouldn't say violence in itself, because that could be a lot. But the threat of it, like the rush of it, all of that, just being on guard, you might feel at home or something like that. You dig? And, you create a whole lifestyle around that darkness, man. You know what I mean? So, like, once you create a lifestyle around it, why would you go back to anything else? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Straight up. You didn't create a lifestyle around anything positive. You look up, all your friends are slut monkeys. You see what I'm saying? Like, you look up, you find yourself, man, you only really coming out at nighttime. You don't really come out in the daytime. That don't appeal to you no more. You can't even deal with that. Like, that's like, nah, I'm coming out at night. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go to spots without drinking no more. I mean, you can create a lifestyle around this shit. And then this is how you get caught up. So like you were saying, that thin line is thinner than we think. Especially if you can't control yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Right. It makes perfect sense.
You did. So, it just is what it is, man. You know what I mean? No matter how hard Joseline Hernandez tried, she was never going to be a soccer mom. Even though she had a kid, but the soccer mom thing ain't gonna appeal to her. She gotta be around rappers.
Right.
She gotta be around certain type of guys. She need that rush. Is in her chemically. Is in her spiritually now. She got to fix that. You see what I'm saying?
She's seen too much.
Been through too much.
It makes sense.
So, anyway, look, we're going to go ahead and wind down this podcast. Look, shout out to everybody for joining us. We just wanted to chop it up, man, about this, man, because I seen Stevie J cutting up and acting a fool, and I'm like, yo, I kind of like Stevie. What's up with this guy? But then when I thought about it, I said, yo, Stevie hit the dark side a long time ago.
He is broken beyond repair.
Think so?
There's no going back from getting head in a video, an interview, a professional interview, and your t-shirt off, laying in bed, moaning? Really? There's no coming back from that.
So you think he should get back with Joseline?
I think he need to be on OnlyFans. That's what I think. He's gone. He's done. He's finished.
Maybe we'll see him back on reality TV soon. I don't know. But anyway, y'all, I want to thank y'all for joining the Nerve of You podcast. This was episode 9. I appreciate everybody for showing up. This is a live podcast. We'll be right back here Thursday, people, for episode 10. And I hope y'all join me. Share this live stream, share this podcast, and peace. We out.
Goodbye.